Mr. Grindstaff, why don't we start and tell us about let's start by having you talk about what's going to happen today and tomorrow, and then give us a little preview also of the end of June meeting coming up.
I'd be glad to do that, Mr. Chairman. We're planning, and I think we put in front of your chair, and there should be on the table outside some staff draft proposed motions.
Oh, yes.
For today.
Remember, there's a one-page sheet, white paper, says DSC staff proposed motions for use in the council meeting on June 14-15.
So the plan will be, after we do the Independent Science Board report and the Executive Officer's report, we start in on the Delta Plan, and we want to walk through the chapters. We covered the executive summary in Chapter 1 at the last meeting. We want to walk through Chapters 2 through 8. In doing that, we are proposing to have a panel here of stakeholders that can help give their comments on their key top issues on each of those chapters. It's our intention to document the direction that you give us, and in the form of what do we call it here, a council action table, and to bring that back at the next meeting. We brought back for this meeting, and it's in your package, council action table from the last meeting. So what we'd like to do is, based on the meeting, this past meeting, our screen just went off.
Mr. Grindstaff, you now look like a version of Max Headroom.
So it's the intent to come back on the 28th and 29th and bring an updated version of the council action table and add any other actions that you may have at that point, and actually get the council to give us direction about how we should move forward on the draft plan. It is also our intent, because we expect that some of your direction will be in the form not of exact language but of intention. And so it is our thought that for that language we actually prepare an internal draft and have the chair and vice chair serve as a committee that reviews that to make sure that they feel that the intention of the council was appropriately captured. When they have done that and they're comfortable that what we have prepared is consistent with what you have given us direction on, then we use that version to circulate a new volume of the EIR and to proceed down the regulatory process with the Office of Administrative Law. So the plan is this meeting with the panel of stakeholders, walk through the chapters. We have a list of open issues. We did not include on that list of open issues everything that the stakeholders have put in their letters. We've probably received around 50 letters. I tried to count them today, but I didn't have them all in front of me. But it's around 50 letters with hundreds of pages of comments again. Some of them are useful and will help us clarify things. In some cases, parties are just saying, don't regulate me, regulate them. In other cases, people are saying, this is just too onerous, and the worst case scenario is really terrible, and we need to find some way to clarify that it's not the intent of the council to be extreme. And so I'll give an example of those. We have had concerns expressed that the policy with regard to prioritizing funding for levies might prevent PL 8499 funding from moving ahead, and that's not our intent. And so our thought is, okay, we need to clarify that and maybe give an example, or somehow the intent is to prioritize expenditures, but not to say, no, if it doesn't do this, you cannot do these things. Another example is reduced reliance, where the language some people feel might preclude their ability to do things in the future. And again, I think it's not the intent of the council to do that, and the state has had similar language for the last couple of years with regard to integrated regional management plans, where it requires reduced dependence on the Delta in order to get funding from the state. So again, we would want to put examples into the text that clarify and help make things clearer. So some of the kinds of comments.
Okay. But that's just the overview. And
that's the overview.
Yeah.
And we'll get to those specifics as we get into the plan.
Okay. You also have some other executive officer items to proceed with.
I do. I just want to mention that Kurt couldn't be with us here today, but at the legislature, it's all budget all the time right now, so they're trying to get their budget done. There have been some proposed bills that would impact what covered actions are, but they're kind of on hold at the moment until a budget's done. So that's an issue out there. I guess I should ask Chris to talk about any legal issues.
Mr. Stevens.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gloria, question?
Hi. Before Chris talks, Joe, you mentioned that there were about 50 other comments that came in recently, correct?
Yeah. And
are they incorporated in the document we're going to see today from you?
We just received them in the last 12 hours.
Yeah, we have. They are not all going to be incorporated into the documents you're going to see today, because our close of comments was midnight last night. So
how will you address those in the future, then?
Our intent is to look through all of those and try and figure out which of those we believe are the most salient. Many of them will be covered as we go through these chapters today. Many of them, I'm not aware of a single commenter that hasn't commented before, and many of them cite their previous comments.
Many of them include their previous 40-page reports once again.
So I don't think you'll be surprised by any of the comments that are there. So my expectation is we will probably cover a lot of those over the next couple of days, and those that we don't cover, then we'll open up for discussion at the next meeting.
All right. What I'd like to do is, because of all the complications of everybody's schedule, we will adjourn as close to noon as we can for a lunch. We will resume at 1 o'clock, and we're going to get through our business as expeditiously as we can all day today and tomorrow.